was impossible not to notice. Although Hayley always loved a nice bearish man she could grab onto, there was also an attitude shift in Bruce as he shed his excess weight and felt recharged physically. He seemed more confident, happier, more at peace, which was a big change from when he was smoking and drinking and barking at Hayley for her irritating penchant for trespassing into his crime-solving territory. No, the new Bruce was far more palatable and, dare she say, sexy. Hayley stuffed another handful of gummy bears into her coat pocket for the 5-minute ride home. She promised to prepare a healthy meal for herself and the kids tonight, whenever they got home. She rarely saw them anymore. Gemma was home from the University of Maine in Orono, continuing her work-study program at the office of Dr. Aaron Palmer, Hayley's ex-boyfriend and the town veterinarian. Dustin, an aspiring filmmaker, was off wheeling and dealing, scouting locations and casting his next opus, as if the small town of Bar Harbor, Maine, was actually his own personal East Coast version of Hollywood. As Hayley pulled into her driveway, chewing on her last gummy bear, her jaw dropped open, and the last bit of the rubbery candy toppled out of her mouth and into her lap. She couldn't believe her eyes. Right there on the front porch were 2 jack-o'-lanterns that had not been there when she left for work that morning. The kids hadn't been home all day. She knew that for a fact, since she had spoken to both of them less than an hour ago. One of the pumpkins had been expertly carved into the face of Batman. The other was a dead-on caricature of Harry Potter. Batman was Dustin's favorite fictional character from childhood. Harry Potter was Gemma's. Hayley felt her heart beating faster, ready to burst out of her chest. There was only one person in the world who could have left those jack-o'-lanterns on her front porch. Her ex-husband, Danny. He used to carve those exact same drawings every year for the kids when they were little. It was one of the few tasks he could be counted on to complete. Hayley jumped out of her car and ran to the porch to inspect the pair of jack-o'-lanterns up close. They were definitely Danny's handiwork, which could only mean one thing. He was sending her a direct message. Danny was letting her know he was back in town, which in Hayley's mind was hardly a good thing, because whenever Danny Powell showed up, trouble soon followed. And Hayley had no clue at this point in time just how much trouble was ahead. Big trouble. Chapter 2. When Hayley pulled up to the ramshackle cabin tucked in the woods of Tremont, on the other side of the island from Bar Harbor, she saw smoke wafting from the chimney. She knew her ex-husband Danny's Uncle Otis was home, and as she stepped out of her car, there was no mistaking the screaming, wailing animal cry of Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, Danny's favorite band, being blasted from inside. That was all the proof she needed. Danny was here, and he was probably inside, smoking some weed and guzzling down some of his favorite uncle's homemade moonshine, 2 of his favorite pastimes. Otis was the one who taught Danny how to carve pumpkins when he was a kid. It was the only nice thing he did teach him. The rest of his educational lessons were hot wiring cars, selling pot, and outrunning the police. Hayley had always been attracted to the bad boys when she was growing up, until she actually ended up marrying one. After 10 years of marriage to Danny, she was officially cured. But he wasn't all bad. He did have a few good points. He fathered 2 wonderful children, and he loved them to bits. He worshipped those kids and would do anything for them. Danny definitely had a soft, gooey center. He also sported rugged good looks and was a sweet-talking charmer, both of which he maximized to his full advantage. He would screw up time and time again with one scheme or another, and then, when his back was against the wall, he would pour on the charm and flash that high-wattage smile. Hayley, not to mention almost everybody else in town, would fall for it ad nauseum. Hayley would find herself saying, "I think he's finally maturing," or "this time he's really going to change," and inevitably she would wind up disappointed and heartbroken. After they divorced and he moved to the Midwest, their relationship improved